guys, welcome to the virtual museum tour. I'm Jessica Lish. I'll be your virtual tour guide. This is for Humanities 201. So we start in ancient Mesopotamia and go all the way through to the medieval period. The theme I chose for my museum pieces is gods and goddesses of worship and how they are portrayed in art. The first piece we have is the Stele of Hammurabi from Mesopotamia. The Stele from Hammurabi is the ancient code. There are ancient laws written on the stele. It depicts Shamash, the god, sitting on the right, giving the laws to the King Hammurabi. These were the first set of written laws the world knows of. They were written in cuneiform. Shamash was the god of the sun in Mesopotamian culture, and sun was the focus of life in Mesopotamia. So Shamash was a very revered god. You can also see that he's depicted as being much larger in this. Even though he's sitting, he is almost the same height as King Hammurabi. So if standing, he would have been much taller. That is the hierarchy scale, meaning that he is more important. He is a god. The next piece we have is the Stele of Ra from Egypt. The god Ra was the god of the sun, and the sun was the source of all life for Egypt too. So he was a powerful figure that they worshipped for a long time. The scene shows Ra on the right, depicted in front of a table of offerings from the Egyptians. These gods in Egypt were depicted as half animal, half human. So he has the head of an eagle or the head of Horus right now. The third piece we have is the Athena Parthenos from Greece. Athena was a very powerful goddess in Greek mythology. She was the goddess of strategy, wisdom, and war. Partially the goddess of war. The Parthenon Greek temple was built to house the statue carved by Phidias, and she was carved from ivory and gold and had extra embellishments made of glass, silver, copper, and jewels. They put a ton of effort and talent into the pieces for their gods and goddesses, because if they didn't like them, the offerings made to them, or if the gods were offended, they were worried that the gods would take revenge on them. So everything made for the gods and goddesses was very beautiful and ornate and just super big. Next piece is the Birth of Venus, Rome. This was painted by Botticelli, and it wasn't just the gods that were revered, it was the goddesses too. They had power just the same. They were able to take revenge on those that didn't have the correct offerings or make the correct sacrifices. And I just love the amount of detail that goes into the artworks for the gods and goddesses of the people that they worship and they revere. Venus is in the center there. She's supposed to be the most important. She's larger than the other figures in the photo, and that's how they depict that. The next artwork we have, sorry about that. The next artwork we have is the Dome of the Rock. So this is from the medieval period, the Islamic, and this is not necessarily an artwork per se, but in Islamic culture, they do not depict their god Allah in any artworks. The Quran forbids it, and so I decided to go with a mosque or a place of worship that they have built, because they put so much time and money and effort into making these buildings the most beautiful buildings they can, to show their respect for their gods, and in this case Allah. The octagon shape is representative of the circle represents heaven and the square represents earth, and it's two squares inside a circle. That's what makes an octagon. So octagonal shapes are often represented with, are often used in ecclesiastical purposes, and the dome here points straight to heaven. It's the connection from heaven and earth. The last piece we have is the Giro cross. So this is the medieval period, but the Christian arts. So this was actually carved and has always been displayed in the Cologne Cathedral in Germany. And this is very significant for the Christian medieval art because of the way they are depicting Christ. He's on the cross and he's nailed, but this is actually the crucifixion of Christ, not just him on the cross. His head is slumped, his eyes are closed, he's dead. Other forms of other carvings of Christ have him almost idealized with his head up. So this was very significant for the Christian art movements. Thank you for listening to my virtual tour. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye, guys. Boy, that was rough.